I have an extremely radical view about this stuff. Like, I believe there are no notes. I believe there are gestures, and that when we see, you know, all of us who learned music from written notes, it's so difficult to get away from this picture of 16th notes or the picture of 8th notes. We hear sound and we immediately put that picture onto the sound that we hear. So we say, oh, it's almost like 8th notes. But what is that standard of 8th notes, you know? I mean, what I'm talking about now, I'm teaching this in my classes for 10 years. And I think only one accordion player that I ever taught actually plays this now. I don't understand why, you know, because I'm being very clear about it, but it's very difficult to fight through this concept of written music that we all have in our minds, you know.
The question is that they don't like to do?
No.
Okay, why they are not able to do this? They don't hear what they play.
Maybe I can learn the words of Hungarian, but I'll never sound like a Hungarian. Maybe it's like that.
No, I think that's a great analogy.
You know?
Well, then...
But you know, some people, we want to study, example, Lautarmusiker.
What I think is that you can come towards it.
We can play the melody, but it's not that. If I want to go deeply in the style, I need to listening more carefully.
Right. But not just the music, though, Colin. I think the music is just one little part. You have to listen to the way they speak to each other, to see the way they dance. Do you know what I mean? Like to the context of it. And as you and I both know, this is nearly impossible, right? So we're trying our hardest to mimic that feel, and we can only do that through this process. I can't go get an old Jewish bass player. I can't. There's no Jewish bass player to learn from. So we have to just listen to the recordings and go, and then we meet the Lautari. We see how they progressed. Because if you just listen to klezmer music, you'll sound like an old record. A long time ago, I made the connection that these recordings, it's like theater. It's not life, right? It's a reflection of life. And it's a 3-minute or 4-minute version. But if you are a sensitive musician, and if you use what Zev Feldman, a concept he uses called, what does Zev call it? He has a word. It's this idea of imagining, you know, in other words, being informed about where the music comes from, the culture and context the music comes from, that if you just use that, if you use the recording as one of the parts of the puzzle, do you know? It helps you build a better picture, but you have to imagine it. You know, it's not the truth. It's not the truth.